Donald Trump is doing everything he can to distract his supporters from the Epstein scandal, throwing out distractions like Rosie O'Donnell, Stephen Colbert, even talk of arresting Obama. But the real problem? Even his MAGA mouthpieces aren't buying it anymore. And one Fox contributor just called him out in brutal fashion. Now, before we can get into Donald Trump being called out by Fox, we gotta start with the reason why. And it's his insane rant about Obama and how Jeffrey Epstein is a witch hunt.
It confirms it, but what we found is even more so. Now, we found absolute, this isn't like evidence this is like proof, irrefutable proof that Obama was seditious, that Obama was trying to lead a coup, and it was with Hillary Clinton, with all these other people, but Obama headed it up. And, I get a kick when I hear everyone talks about people I never even heard of. It was this one. No, it was Obama. He headed it up. And it says so right in the papers. Got everything. This is the biggest scandal in the history of our country. And it really goes on to even the auto pen, because it all relates to the same thing. It all started the same sick minds. You have an auto pen, which is a tremendous, well, we don't have a president. We have an auto pen that signs everything. I'll bet you sign everything. You don't have auto pens. Everybody, who doesn't sign? You're the president of a country. But it's all that whole thing leading right up to the end of it is the auto pen. And the auto pen was used by people, and Biden knew nothing about it. They were signing documents that he knew nothing about. As an example, they released the Unselect Committee of Liability. The Unselect Committee spent 2 years grilling everybody, and then they destroyed all the evidence. You know why? Because the evidence made them guilty, and he gave them all a pardon. The Cheney, all the scum that was on the Unselect Committee, Cryan, Adam Kinzinger, and Democrats, and he gave them a pardon. Do you have something else?
This is pure projection from Donald Trump accusing President Obama of sedition and treason when he's the one who actually tried to stage a coup. And MAGA falls in line saying, treason, lock him up, unless of course it's Trump. Then it's fine. But it's not just Trump spreading this lie about Obama. Tulsi Gabbard joined in too. And after this Fox News moment, the network's tone noticeably shifted. Watch the clip right here.
We are referring all of the documents that we have uncovered to the Department of Justice and the FBI for a criminal referral.
Yeah. And do you believe that we will see prosecutions? I mean, our audience wants to know where this story goes from here. Will we ever see anyone held accountable for this incredible lie on the American people?
I will do all that I can, and we have whistleblowers, actually, Maria, coming forward now after we release these documents, because there are people who were around, who were working within the intelligence community at this time, who were so disgusted by what happened. We're starting to see some of them come out of the woodwork here, because they, too, like you and I and the American people, want to see justice delivered. So we're going to provide everything that we have, everything that we will continue to gather to the Department of Justice for that direct intent and that direct purpose. There must be indictments, those responsible, no matter how powerful they are and were at that time, no matter who was involved in creating this treasonous conspiracy against the American people. They all must be held accountable.
So do you expect, just to be clear, do you expect indictments and prosecutions?
I'm not a lawyer. In my view, we have the evidence to be able to move forward and bring about justice, yes, to prosecute and indict those responsible.
And I want to really put a spotlight on who's responsible, because we've talked about the highest levels. Barack Obama, John Brennan, James Clapper. But we also have to look at things like, you just found all of this. Why didn't Durham find it? Why didn't Mueller find it? Okay, what about the FISA judges? Because when you look at this seditious conspiracy aimed at overthrowing the U.S. government and an elected president, you have to consider also the black robes. You've got to look at the FISA judges. And how about the fact that The judge who gave a slap on the wrist to Kevin Kleinsmith, who was the FBI agent who lied on an official document about Carter Page, who was spied on for a year, that judge is Judge James Boasberg. He's still at his desk, and he's still trying to stop Donald Trump's agenda. So what about the broader group of people that are also involved?
Maria, this is of such historic consequence that it cannot be limited to one or two or three different people. You just outlined the implications and the effects of what actually occurred, and I think you're really putting into a clear picture what we are referring to when we refer to the deep state. It is very far-reaching. These are people who are intent on undermining the will of the American people and trying to ultimately put themselves above our democracy. And this is why it's so important that we continue down this path. We continue to stay very focused. I question the same things that you're asking here. I don't know how it is. Yes, I put my team on this. We've been working on this over the last few months. I've been in this role as Director of National Intelligence for just about 6 months. I don't know what excuse there is for those who supposedly investigated this previously, whether it was Durham or others, that they were not able to put together the dots and ultimately show the truth to the American people. President Trump has delivered a maximum transparency mandate, and this is exactly what we're doing. The American people need to see the truth, and we're going to continue to do that every single day that I'm here.
You really just have to laugh at this point if you're a Trump supporter, right? Can you take these guys seriously? Like, all they have been talking about for the past year is how they're going to release the Epstein files. We're going after the predators. And they immediately give up, and now you're supposed to get excited about Barack Obama or George Clooney or Hillary Clinton or James Comey being arrested. Oh, it's coming soon. We're going to prosecute them. Donald Trump hasn't gone after anyone that he's claimed to be in the deep state. He has just made his own deep state, and is why Trump and Gabbard were ripped to shreds by a Fox contributor. As we can see right here, Fox News contributor savages Tulsi Gabbard in scathing op-ed. A Fox News contributor ripped Tulsi Gabbard's misleading attack on members of the Obama administration over its investigation into the 2016 Trump campaign's ties to Russia. National Review contributing editor Andrew McCarthy took issue Monday with the director of National Intelligence's claim that Obama's team engaged in a treasonous conspiracy after the 2016 election to fabricate claims of Russian election meddling in order to damage Trump's presidency. McCarthy began by commenting that there's good reason to wonder whether Gabbard speaks with other intelligence officials in the Trump administration or even reads CIA reports, because when it comes to that agency's findings on Russian interference, no new light is shed on this episode by Gabbard's email disclosures. Gabbard's posts, he added, were unsurprisingly accompanied by an overwrought and misleading press release rather than an analytical report. Perhaps that's because Gabbard's intelligence community peer, CIA Director John Ratcliffe, did issue an analytical report just a few days earlier that contradicts Gabbard's implication that there was no evidence of Russian interference in the 2016 election, continued the Fox News contributor. Yet Gabbard's frivolous post Friday, which came as the president is mired even deeper in his Jeffrey Epstein controversy, was still enough for Trump to seize on. The 79-year-old did so in a characteristic fashion by posting a bizarre AI video of Obama being arrested in the Oval Office. Donald Trump is clearly trying to distract with outrageous lies and conspiracies. It's embarrassing. They claimed they'd take down the deep state and elites, but did the exact opposite. Trump filled the government with loyalists protecting him, not the people. Just look at how he used the DOJ and FBI for his own gain. It's all backfired, and Jamie Raskin called it out perfectly in this clip right here.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. And thanks to the witnesses for joining us today. Like its ally, the authoritarian government of Russia, the authoritarian government of China presents a serious threat to American democracy, our economy, and our national security. And China's intensifying economic and technological competition with the U.S. has at times led to pitched battles in courtrooms across America. We've seen cases affecting our national security, intellectual property, and the safety of Chinese dissidents living here in the United States. It'd be great if we had a partner in the White House to help us respond to the threat of these repressive autocratic regimes, but Donald Trump has consistently bragged about his marvelous personal relationships with Vladimir Putin, who he has called a genius for invading Ukraine and has consistently praised, and President Xi, who Trump calls a brilliant guy who controls 1.4 billion people with an iron fist, and whom he has praised for sending Uyghurs to labor camps, saying this was exactly the right thing to do. Trump's been systematically dismantling the programs that protect America against espionage, propaganda, and malign political and electoral interference by Russia and China, while simultaneously dismantling the domestic programs that make us strong. His administration has been deleting the programs designed to combat malign foreign power interference in our elections, including the Foreign Influence Task Force at the FBI, the Global Engagement Center at the Department of State, the Critical Infrastructure Partnership Council at the Department of Homeland Security, while simultaneously cutting billions of dollars in critical foreign aid to poorer countries for development and democracy assistance and for humanitarian programs, which China is now gladly taking up in our place. They are filling the void left by Donald Trump's abandonment of the space of foreign assistance. Trump, meantime, has been systematically destroying Radio Liberty, Radio Free Europe, Radio Free Asia, and other broadcast vehicles that we use to counter Chinese and Russian propaganda and disinformation all over the world. Trump has put Carrie Lake in charge of world communications, an election denier, a January 6th denier, an all-around mindless repeater of garbage conspiracy theories and lies, totally consistent with the Chinese and Russian agendas for the destruction of American democracy. This hearing is important, but it ignores the structural shift in our government in favor of the autocracies and kleptocracies who are Donald Trump's political soul brothers. It is also, of course, a distraction from the mounting failures, scandals, and embarrassments of this administration. Republicans this month passed a bill to throw 17 million Americans off of their Medicaid health insurance. The rescission package Congress passed last week cuts $1 billion from public broadcasting and billions more from foreign aid, all of which is nothing but music to the ears of propagandists and foreign recruiters for China and Russia. Meantime, Trump is refusing to release the Epstein files, more than 100,000 documents which he was demanding for years in order to blow the lid off of what he and Pam Bondi and Kash Patel and Dan Bongino and the mega media were describing as a massive global child sex abuse and human trafficking ring for the rich and powerful. Bondi, acting under the direct supervision of Donald Trump, ordered more than 1,000 FBI agents to work as part of continuing 24-hour shifts, poring over more than 100,000 documents in the Epstein file, photographs, videos, emails, and texts. They were instructed to immediately flag all references to Donald Trump, all appearances of Donald Trump, and all images, likenesses, pictures, and videos of Donald Trump. At the same time, Kash Patel has been administering loyalty tests and lie detector tests to FBI agents. So this is a profoundly troubling and suspicious turn of events as Donald Trump seeks to sweep the whole thing under the rug, and our colleagues in the majority have now canceled all bills because they don't want to go before the Rules Committee to have to face more votes.
Donald Trump administration is a joke. beyond the danger of his Epstein cover-up, protecting criminal allies. It's just embarrassing that MAGA still fall for this is shocking. These people are being misled, plain and simple, whether it's calling them out or education them. We are going to keep that on this show. And if you want to support that, as always, you can hit that subscribe button and leave a like on this video. And if you stuck around at the end, you can drop the blue heart in the comments. And until next time, I will see you soon.